The following program is a 2-week program that has been designed for high school athletes so that they can perform this corrective exercise program as a warm-up before their practices. Now this is a rotational exercise program, so they will be able to do their primary program on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and their secondary program on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So as I go through the 4 stages of the corrective exercise continuum, I will be sure to let you know if we are currently discussing and displaying a primary day exercise or if we're displaying something from the secondary exercise program. On the first phase of the primary day, I have assigned our athletes to a gastroc soleus SMR rolling. During this rolling, they're going to complete 2 sets. The first set is going to be the normal rolling where they are going to roll from ankle to knee at a kind of slow to moderate pace. This is going to allow them to feel the more tender spots so that their second set of SMR rolling will not actually be rolling, but rather holding on the tender spot. Okay, so Dustin is going to display how to do the gastroc soleus SMR rolling. We're going to focus on one leg at a time, so he's going to cross over so that he can focus just on the right leg. He's going to lift and begin rolling from ankle to knee. This first set again is going to be 30 seconds. Okay. For the second set, he will have been able to identify the most tender spot during rolling. So for example, if his most tender spot is in this region, what he's going to do is position the roll under that spot. Good. And simply lift and hold on that tender spot for 30 seconds. Again, within the first phase of our primary exercise program, we're going to be utilizing the foam roller, this time with an SMR that is going to focus on the IT band. Again, this is going to be 2 sets of 30 seconds. The first set is going to be rolling from knee to hip so that the tender spots can be identified. The second set is going to be holding the roll for 30 seconds on the tender region. Dustin is now going to demonstrate how to do the IT band roller with his first set rolling from knee to hip. He's going to focus just on the right leg, crossing over his left leg, and resting his arm just below the shoulder so that he can get the full range rolling from knee to hip. Good, and then back to the knee. Again, this is going to be for 30 seconds, and then once he has identified whatever spots are feeling tender, he will then hold the roll under that tender spot, okay, and simply hold for 30 seconds. For the first phase of our secondary program, I've decided to keep the gastroc soleus SMR for inhibition. However, I've swapped out our IT band foam rolling for a biceps femoris foam rolling. Dustin's going to go ahead and demonstrate this. This time with the foam roll under both legs, he's going to roll from knee to essentially the glutes and back. This first set will be 30 seconds of rolling. Once he's identified the tender regions, he's then going to complete a second set of just holding for 30 seconds with the roll isolated on those tender spots. Thank you. For the second phase of our primary exercise program, I've incorporated a gastroc soleus stretch using the towel. This is very easy to complete on an individual basis, so it's a great stretch to use. We've currently got the towel placed on the ball of the foot. He's going to stretch one leg at a time, and he's going to actually pull, and he can actually get a little bit of inversion here where you tilt the toes inward and pull. He's going to hold this for 30 seconds and complete complete one set of stretching. For the second phase of our exercise program, we are going to focus on the lengthening techniques. For our primary day, I've decided to go with a second stretch that focuses on the IT band and TFL. We're going to do a standing IT band stretch. And so the leg that you're focusing on is going to remain stationary. Dustin's then going to cross over his left leg. He's then going to push out to the right with his hip and extend his arms, reaching overhead, ensuring that he feels a stretch here at the IT band in the side of his leg. For the second phase of our secondary program, I've decided to keep the gastroc towel stretch the same, but have swapped out the TFL IT band stretch for a biceps femoris stretch. To start off, your athlete is going to be lying in the supine position, and they are going to raise their leg, crossing over the midline, making sure that the knee is fully extended and supporting the leg there. Do you feel a stretch in the back of your knee? Good. And this is going to be one set for a 30-second hold. For the third phase of our corrective exercise program, the activation phase, I've decided for our primary day to focus on the posterior and anterior tibialis. Our first exercise, we are going to use the band, and I currently have his foot up on the foam roller so that we can get greater range of motion here. I'm going to hold the band around the top of his foot. I'm going to pull with moderate resistance, and he's going to give me a 4 count up and then a 2 count back. Let's try that again, but this time I want you to keep your foot straight, kind of tilted in your ankle. Go ahead. Good. Perfect. If at any time you see your athlete performing incorrectly, just be sure to correct the form so that they don't continue to compensate as they're doing these activation exercises. For the second exercise of the activation, I'm going to pass the band over to Dustin. He's going to hold tight. Go ahead and pull. What we're going to do this time is he's going to push down, but he's actually going to then draw a bit of a J shape. Good. And then he's going to push back and relax. Good. These are both going to be 2 sets of 15, making sure that we have that 4-second, 2-second tempo. For the third phase of our secondary corrective exercise program, I've decided to swap out the anterior and posterior tibialis exercises for 2 gluteal activities focusing on the gluteus medius and gluteus maximus. What I've done is I've tied a loop in the band here so that it can go around my athlete's ankle, and I will hold resistance. This is easy to do with your athletes if you have them partner up. If anyone is working on an individual basis, say at home, you can always tie a knot in the opposite side of the band and close it in a doorway. But since I'm here, I'm going to hold the resistance for him. And what I'm going to do for our gluteus medius activity is I'm first going to put the band around his ankle. Thank you. He's then going to turn his foot laterally. Thank you. And he is then going to attempt to maintain his balance on his left leg and kick out slowly with the right. Back down. Do you need more tension or are you good? Good. All right, let's do one more. Thank you. And this is going to be 2 sets of 15. Now, easy to transition from the medius to the maximus. I'm going to have Dustin face forward to me. Thank you. I still have this band secured around his ankle, but this time his feet are going to face forward, so no lateral rotation here. And he is then going to keep his leg straight and extend the hip backwards. Yep, good. We're going to do that one more time. And this is going to be done for 2 sets of 15 repetitions. For our phase 4 of our exercise program, the integration phase, I've decided to do a long jump and hold exercise on our primary days. So what we're going to have our individual do is they are going to kind of go into almost like a half squat position. They are going to jump forward and land also in that squat position, but maintain a hold for 5 seconds. Good. Now he did have a little bit of eversion going on in the right foot, so we're going to go ahead and make sure that we correct that as we move forward. And we also want to prevent any outward or inward movement of the knee. So let's do that one more time and really focus on keeping your feet straight as you land. Much better. Thank you. For our 4th phase, which is integration on our secondary day, I've decided to add a squat activity using the band tied around the knees. Here the band's not only going to provide some resistance, but it's going to encourage our athlete to resist the inward movement of their knees, or that knee valgus. And so currently I have the band already tied around Dustin's knees. We're about 2 inches above the patella here. And he has his feet already spread in his normal squat stance. He is going to then slowly squat down, ensuring that he has outward movement of the knees versus if they were inward, to try and combat that valgus, and he's going to return to the top. And then you might not be able to see it from your view, but he is also ensuring that his knees, as he squats down, his knees are not passing the front of his toes. So let's see, one more squat from you there. Good, and come back up. Good. This can be 1 to 2 sets of 15 repetitions.